Welcome chillins, it's Phil Beckwith, professional painter and decorator, back with the flat renovation. Now, previous videos you've seen me redo this ceiling in this entrance hall, and now here, this dark blue, I don't like it. So I've gone through our workshop, found some paint that I've got enough paint of, and I'm going to redo it, and it's in a bit of a greeny colour. I'm not sure what colour it is. It's that. So it's actually quite nice. I can't even see what it says on the tin. It's Farron Balls number 17. So it's mixed up in Tikkurila Everal Aqua 40, and it's whatever the near match is to a Farron Ball 17. Doesn't matter to me whether it's a near match or an exact match, doesn't matter. So we're doing Everal Aqua 40, which is an interior-exterior paint. Brilliant inside. And I will be spraying it with HVLP, one of these with a 1.8 needle and a remote pot, so it can hold a bit more paint in it than just the suction pot underneath. So all I'm going to do, I'll try and keep this simple for you. Try and keep it really simple. I'm just going to give all this dark blue a nib down, a dust off, because it has all been prepared before. And literally, I'm just going to go over it with the Everal Aqua 40. I've not got time to be doing base grip coat, primer, undercoats. I need to get this done ready for the weekend where I've got stuff to go onto this wall. So time is of the essence. This may take 3. If it takes 3 coats, it'll be all of the same paint. If it takes 2, jobs are good and we're on a winner. But for now, I'm going to go off camera. I'm just going to get it lightly prepared because it only wants a fine nib down and a dust off. I'm going to put some tape around the hinges. Can you see the chrome hinges just there? I've already got door handles off on the main door there. It's just a case of just run a bit of tape round with some paper just to protect the room next to it, and a bit of tape and paper underneath the door. Can you just see across there? Because that goes into the communal area of the flats, and I don't want any just waft overspray going onto the carpet out there. Well, carpet, I call it carpet. I don't think it is carpet, it's probably just a cord. Contract stuff. So bear with me, I'm just going to get everything prepared now, and then I'll come back to you once I've all got everything set up, and I'll start spraying. So let's, fingers crossed I like this colour better than the blue. You know, when people say it takes ages taping up, it doesn't take ages taping up if you know what you're doing. It's a little bit, bit of thought has to go into it to what you're going to be taping. Now, people ask me, how do you tape a door up when you're only doing one side? What I've actually done is, I've got to be a bit careful. I don't want to make too much mess, do I? Don't want to make too much mess. I've ran a strip of tape down that side of the door, you know, that's white, just to protect that edge, but I've kept it a fraction. I don't know whether you'll see it. I've kept it a fraction away, so there is a little bit of white showing, little bit of white showing, because when I spray, I want that blue to be got rid of, which has just crept round slightly. So I ran a bit of tape on, a delicate tape, not quite purple, but the one in between. And then I've dropped, I put another, you can see what it is, paper on the roll with tape on. So when I spray this section here, if I'm coming down here, I can catch that edge, go onto that tape without covering all my walls in there. And because I've got more control with the HVLP, I can dial it down and just be very careful with that. Same with the top. I've dropped a piece just down at the back. I've dropped a piece. Oh, I'm losing it. Nearly dropped my camera. Dropped a piece down at the back, and then there's a piece there. And then when I come to the top, I'll be very careful either going that way or down, not to get too much bounce back and overspray. I can't see any of that happening. Not really, no. Right, next bit that you probably want to know about is these edges of the frame there. I've just taped up on the inside edge that would be the white for the room behind. That room. Yeah, you see that? That's me. Gold leaf wall. Did you see that video? Looks lovely, that does. Does when the light's on it and the gloss varnish have gone. So I've just adds value to your house, I've told you. I've taped up that edge just with the tape again. That one. and kept it a fraction away, and then I've put the paper against the angle so I'm protecting the wall there. Again, HVLP, I can dial down the needle width. Let's say that again. I can dial down the paint flow so I'm not putting too much paint on, and I can also just narrow the width of the fan pattern to do these stretches here. Then my next bit I'll just show you, just to protect the ceiling up there. I've just put it across that corner because we are very close to the ceiling. And there, again, I'm not expecting too much spray because I'll have control over it. And then the last little bit on this door that I will just show you, the edges. People always worry about edges. Don't worry about the edges. Don't overthink it. These edges here where I did a split because it was such a dark blue, I've just taped up the angle so you see that? I've taped up the gap so nothing will blow through it onto the other wall. And what I'm going to do is spray all that in, but I'll actually finish those areas just with a brush. I'll just get a, I don't know, inch brush just down there to paint those in, so I'm not having to worry about the spray going on it. Spray will go around there so far. Spray will go around so far, but I'll actually finish it off with a brush full of paint. So all in all, I'm quite happy. So I'm going to get my paint out. Let's crack on. And next time you'll see me, I'll have paint ready to spray. Right, I said I'll be back when I'm ready to spray, but I get quite a few questions about paint consistency and thickness when using HVLP. And this is the remote pot. This is the separate pot compared to the pot that goes under the gun. This is a remote pot. Now, I'm not bothered what you say. Everybody should be really, I'll say everybody. I'm not bothered what you say. I always find you've got to thin down your paint quite a bit. Not loads, but you've got to thin down your paint to get it through. I'm just going to show you the paint hose. This is the paint hose on the HVLP. So my rule of thumb is feel what it feels like. A bit of an oxymoron. Feel what it feels like. Now to me, this is Everal Aqua 40 and it's a bit round, it's a bit thick. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tip it out into my remote pot and add a bit of water into it. Now ideally, add a bit of water at a time, so when you mix it, it flows nicely off the mixing stick back into the paint. If it looks like it's too thick and it's melted microwaved ice cream, you might want a bit more water to it. But if you find you're spraying it's too thin, you can always add a little bit more to it. So bit trial and error. And no, I don't use a viscosity cup. It is literally trial and error for me. So let's see how we go. This is too thick. If you can see that, you probably can't. Oh, so. See how that runs into it? As it runs in, it actually sits on the surface before it flows back into itself. So I want it, the consistency that it actually runs smoother than that back in. And that is normally the right consistency for me painting. It doesn't have to be too thin because I'm actually using a 1.8 needle, which will allow a bit more paint through. But what you don't want is splattery paint and drying on the surface that you'll say, oh, it looks a bit camera finish, if you know what I mean. Camera finish, pimply. So let's see how we go. I'm filling it up halfway. I've got clean water. I'm just going to add a splash of water. 50 ml, it's probably no more than that. Might be a little bit more. I'm going to mix in now. And already, I feel that's about right. I don't want to thin it anymore. I want some opacity stroke coverage. So let me go with that. Can you see? Runs in straight away. If I feel it's too thick, we can always add a bit more. Right, guys and gals. That bloke can't really say that anymore, can we? Guys and gals, because you know who you say it. I've got, you can just see there, I've got a piece of lining paper on the wall. Now, I've made the paint up. Consistency feels quite nice. I've just had a little got a little on my brain. I've got a little practice on that piece of lining paper there. I'm quite happy with the width of the spray fan pattern I've got and the amount of paint that's going through. And that's all regulated off the gun with the paint flow needle adjustment at the back. And on the side, you could widen or narrow your fan pattern. Now, I'm going to go off camera now, not speak to you, because I'm going to turn the machine on. It makes a lot of noise. So I'll probably fast forward this, pour a bit of music to it so you don't get too bored. One thing I just want to mention, I have got a mask. That's the first thing. I'm going to put that on with the new filter in the pre-filter at the front. And also HVLP, if you pull back the trigger, the gun just sprays air. I spray, just lets air out. Now, I've just gone over all of that lot there just to blow off any last bits of dust. Remnants. That sounds good, doesn't it? Remnants. Around the bit at the bottom where the skirting is. There might be a little bit of dust still there, but so I haven't got time to go mad with it. It is dusted off. I've not tack ragged it. I've just taped up the hinges. You can just see there with some purple tape on the door, and I've taken the door handle off. So can you bear with me and let's see how we go. I'm going to start at the far end. Some Velux has let some air in. I forgot how noisy that is, and also there are a lot of dust about. I probably should have hacked up, but hey ho. HVLP does seems to have a lot of dust about it. That has not gone on too bad. I've kept moving quite quickly with it, not to put too much paint on because I didn't want anything running. Don't forget we're going over that blue, so we are going to be a little bit of a awkward colour, and I didn't want it actually trying to go for one. So we're in here now. 50-50 overlap. 50-50 overlap. The fan pattern was quite wide because I've got big areas and I want to do it quickly. And what was the spraying? 7-8 inches away from the surface seemed about nice. My only thing is it's noisy. You do seem to get dust blowing up in the air because there is a lot of air blowing around from the actual gun. Overspray wise, I wouldn't really call it overspray. I think it's much more like spray dust more than anything else. But for one coat, I'm quite happy. I'm going to let that dry I'm going to have a bit of a break, have some lunch, eat something, come back, and I want to give it another coat to build it up. If it's dry enough, I want to try and get this finished today, which I think I will do. So I'll see you later. Did you see those little snippets, sound bites of me spraying the second coat? Now, I'll be honest, I was probably only half an hour, if that, before I could get another coat on. Tikkurila stuff dries really quick, and we're warm here, I've got airflow. So it had actually dried quite nicely. So what I did, I started going round. I actually opened up the paint flow to put a little bit more paint on, narrowed down the actual fan pattern only slightly, and went a little bit slower. And as you could see, I didn't have any particular way of going up and down or vertical. I'll say filled in the gaps. Now, the reason for that is I wanted to make sure on this second coat that I caught any areas that I didn't really catch first time round. And the first coat was quite a thinnish waft coat, more for me to feel what the paint was like. But I didn't want to really get it covered in two. I wanted to go for a third, so I will be going for a third, but that'll be later on today. But it's nearly gone for two. It's about gone for two. Quite happy with that. So I'm going to let it dry off. When I come back, I'll mix a little bit more paint up, and it'll be a regimented up and down to make sure that I get it even. The second coat, I went horizontal up and down and filled in the gaps, mainly just to get that coverage over the surface area, if that makes sense. So 3 coats, that's no problem. I'm quite happy with that. I think I've just gone a bit carried away and got a bit of overspray on me, overspray on my walls. Just on that ceiling bit, so touch it in. That's not a problem. Touch it in. I can touch it in. Just so you don't feel you're missing out, I've been and had my tea after that second coat, which you knew I did every which way we can. I came back to dried off lovely, so I've been a good couple of hours, I'd say a couple of hours. I came back, I've checked it all over, I went over with a fine Merca Gold sanding pad, and if you want to know where to get sanding pads from, there'll be a link below to the Amazon store that I've got going now. No sponsorship by anybody, but Amazon store, I do get a little bit of a percentage if anybody buys anything, but I don't carry any stock, it's just through Amazon, by the way. So I just went round, de-nibbing anything. Where the skirting was against the carpet, there was a little bit of bounce back of dust. I've just neatly sanded that off. Now that there's been a bit of overspray onto the carpet, I'm expecting that there won't be much more dust coming back up, hopefully. But that's what I've done. I've gone around all this panelling now, just de-nibbed it, dusted it off, and I'm starting to coat up with the third coat. And I'm keeping to a regimented pattern. What I've done the door at the end. I'm just having a breather. Just literally up and down, overlapping 50% and keeping a nice equal distance of about 6 to 8 inches, just about like that. Going down, I've got the same sort of mix of paint. So going down, I've taken it slower. I've not gone too quick and I've not gone too fast. So I'm getting a nice flow of paint onto it. I've not really had to alter the dial on the back of the needle gun for the paint flow because my paint consistency is about the same. Really nice. And on this door here, it feels lovely. You know, Everal Aqua 40 as a satin finish for spray interior. Inside, it's an interior-exterior paint, but for using it inside is lovely. It's a lovely finish, hard-wearing finish as well, but still water-based. I've done all that, and it's drying off lovely. So what I'm going to do now, I'll go off camera because I don't want to be showing you all the spraying that I've showed you before. But I have to say, the third coat's just making it, just giving it a bit more depth. That first coat I put on, I was controlling it. I wasn't putting too much on. I wanted to get a base layer. I won't say a base coat. I wanted to get a base layer on to work on over the top of that, which the second coat, you could have probably passed for 2 coats. But the third coat is going to be the one that's really going to set it off, the pièce de résistance. So let me crack on, stop talking to me, let me crack on, and I'll see you when I've done it. Right, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's the third coat gone on. And as I said just seconds ago, I've just kept it verticals over like 50% and got a lovely coat on. And I hope you can agree, that looks so much better than the blue. It looks so much better than the blue. All right, where are we? The door's open slightly because I've just got, what have I got? I've got an Arrowworthy Classic slash cut 1.5 inch. And what I've done, I've just whipped round the door edges. I actually gave a coat prior to the third coat going on, just so I'd already got some on. And then just as I finished, and it dries really quick. So once that door section area had been done, once I opened it, and I could paint that door edge no problem. It dried off enough on me. So let me just show you something. Because people worry about taping up, and you see what I've done there? Just around the edges of the outside, I've just put some drop paper roll bagging off the 3M hand masker just around the edges. So when I opened the door and did the inner frame edge, because I brushed that, and then just as a final waft, I just gave it a waft over with. I'll show you. Just give it a waft over with the sprayer. And then, if you can see. So, the paper bagging is against that edge there. Can you see? Same over the top. And then what I could do, I could spray that edge and just a little bit of the, and then just a little bit of the overspray goes onto the paper there, so it's not going all outside. What I did on the floor there, you get the idea. But that is drying lovely, and that door, what a lovely finish. Just a bit tacky, But on the whole, I'm really pleased how that has turned out. I'll just show you around here. Let's turn the lights on. I've got lights. Yeah, can you see that sheen? So much better. The stuff that had got on before, which was the Valspar exterior metal wood paint, was very dry. And as soon as I was touching it with the fingers, you were getting marks all over it. This, I might be still a bit tacky. This, I'll have a lovely soft sheen to it, 40%. So I'm happy with that. Right, the inner edges on there, I will be taking the tapes off very soon before I go. I'll be taking off this bagging round here before I go. And unfortunately, I got a bit carried away with the sprayer. I've got a little bit of spray on there. So I'll just touch that in with some sealing paint. And you're saying, what's the sealing paint? If you watch that video in the corner there, it's Jerger, Jeger, Jerger. I think that's how you pronounce it. Paint from Poland. Very impressed with it. One of the things that I liked about it, I don't get any flashing where you join up. Watch that video, very interesting. So here we are. We're all done. I'm loving that colour. This is Farrow & Ball number 17. I'll just put a description on a pop-up what colour it actually is in Farrow & Ball. But that I am liking. It's got a quality feel to it now. There's my tripod. And we're all done. And that's 3 coats. I could have got away with 2, but I wanted a lighter waft coat on that first one, and then a second to make sure I got all the edges, and then a third is the final. And it looks really quality. You see that? A lot better. Right, all I've got to do now, when people worry about cleaning out spray equipment, HVLP is one of the easiest to clean out. All I've got to do is tip the paint out of there, wash it out, unscrew it, release the air pressure. There's a release the pressure, and then you can unscrew the cap, the lid I should say. Wash your canister out, get the paint out, wash the canister out, then put some water in it and flush it through the pipes. So turn it back on, that'll flush it through the gun. Once you've got all the pipes clean and you know there's no paint left in it, you're good to disconnect the gun from the hose, which is just a quick release like that. Unscrew your paint pipe, put that back on so I don't lose it. There, and then strip down your gun, strip the needle out, strip the air cap, strip the air cap out, make sure it's all clean, wipe it all over, and I put a little bit of Vaseline on, and that will be good to go for the next time. So that's about it. Dead easy, dead easy. On that note, I'm going to say over and out. There'll be some videos coming at the side of me there, hopefully. If you enjoyed this content, click the like button and give some comments. Do you do spraying like this? I like HVLP, a lot more control over airless, but let's just face it, airless is quicker, HVL's slower, but you do get a lovely finish, a controlled finish with HVLP. And in here, I've put up with the dust that's been generated by the turbine. It's a lovely finish. It's a lovely finish and it's easy to clean out. So videos there, see you on the next one.